the Ancestor Spirits. And one of the best ways to summon is with the drum. By beating on the drum, you can put your energy into it. You're sending out your own voice or your own energy or your own frequency to the ancestors and saying, come to me, I'm here, ancestors. I'm ready for you to speak to me. I'm ready for you to give me a vision. I need your help. Or thank you. Sometimes, ancestors like to be appreciated, and it's just thank you. One of the best ways you can thank the ancestors is to sing them a song, to thank them specifically for something. Some people like to put out a spirit plate, and that is if you know of an ancestor that you have, a beloved that you've had in your life, whether it's been a mate or a grandparent or a parent. An ancestor can even be one of your favorite animal companions. I had a wolf dog named Vision Wolf who was my faithful companion and my teacher for 17 years. So you can put out a plate of food out into nature and call the spirits of your ancestors to come and to dine and to be fed. You can also sometimes take a plate of food and join them by eating those same foods. And as you eat those foods, remember their joy in eating those foods. Of course, that might be a little different with your animal companion, although my animal companions eat what I do, so it's pretty, I'm not eating their kibble. So ancestor spirits are a really important part of our lives. And, we like to, or I do, but most of us like to focus on the positive about the ancestor spirits and maybe the support, the love they gave us. We tend to kind of forget all the bad things about relatives, especially people that we love. Once they've passed, we tend to kind of immortalize them and sanctify them and make them into saints a little bit more than maybe perhaps of what they really were. But I guess what's left when all is said and done and when people leave this planet, what remains is the good, primarily with us. And perhaps that's a good thing. But it's also a good thing sometimes to look at both the successes and failures, or the struggles and trials and shadows of the ancestors, as well as the many things that they did well, or the beautiful lessons that they passed to us. When my grandmother first passed, you probably can't see this very well, but this is a picture of me and my grandmother when I was about 10 years old, and my grandfather, and we're standing in front of their farmhouse, and I'm holding my favorite chicken called Bessie Marie that I raised as a little baby chicken, and I had her for about 6 or 7 years. But this is it. I don't know if you can see there or not, but my grandmother was one of my greatest teachers, and she passed when I was 12. And I've called on her throughout my whole life, from the time I was a little girl while she was here until the time that she left. And then since then, I've called on her numerous times as a teenager, as an adult. She's come to me in my dreams, and she's been a big help to me at times. And she's given me warnings at times. And at other times, she's been there just to tell me that she loves me. And when my grandmother first passed, for many years, all I could think about was the good things about her. And that was really wonderful. But as I grew up and as I got older and I started seeing certain patterns in myself, and I began to trace back some of those patterns, I could see she had some of those patterns too. And at first I felt guilty, or I didn't want to see those things about her because I had her on such a pedestal. But then I realized that that was part of her gift to me, that the shadow forces us to become who it is that we are. The positive side of my grandmother supported me in ways that was so valuable, that I really needed, because I was kind of a weird indigo kid. Today that's much more acceptable, but being a sensitive, empathic, strange or different child was not particularly a favorable thing to be in the 50s and 60s. It got more popular. But anyway, she always validated me and supported me. She was a loving, unconditionally loving presence in my life. She taught me about nature and shamanism, even though she never called it that. She taught me about spirituality, even though we went to the Baptist church. She also taught me about animals and trees and the spirit guides that are all around us, the great star nations and all of that. But her death, which was probably indirectly caused from some of her own issues in her early 50s, was not something I really looked at until I got older. And as I said, looked at my own patterns. So in looking at the shadow pieces, I believe that she saved my life. That there's a way in which I learned, and I stand on her shoulders. I learned from all the love and the beauty that she had. And I also learned from all the pain and perhaps quiet suffering that she had. And you can imagine a woman as vibrant as this in the 50s who grew up in a little western town in a little western Kentucky that was a very backwards area, especially when she was a little girl. And she had so much dynamism and so much spirit. And there was a part of her that couldn't keep it down, but she, you know, in some ways she tried to. And early on in my life, I tried to too, and it almost killed me. So I say to you that the ancestors, whether they're a human being or whether they're a chicken, which was also an ancestor spirit, Bessie Marie, I still think about her with tears in my eyes. I slept with this chicken as a little girl. And she came running to me. She loved me very much. She even laid an egg when I was holding her once in my lap as she was sleeping. But whether your ancestors are chickens, people, maybe ancestors you haven't met, great-great-grandparents, maybe not only 2 or 3 generations ago, but your early ancestors that were upon this planet. And I will say this for another topic, another day, but also future ancestors. What are they? And ancestors from perhaps even other dimensions. But the ancestors are here to help us. They're not here to hurt us. They're here for us to learn from. And if we honor ourselves and honor our lessons and can look at the patterns in our life, like I said before, both the positive and the negative, or the light and the dark, then we can honor all the gifts that our ancestors bring to us. The light, the dark, no difference.